Hi and welcome to day 32 of Counting the Omer, Netzach within Hud. As I have shared with you in previous readings, Netzach is about the masculine drive to move towards a goal. It's about this joy we can experience when we are on the right path and in our right element and doing what we came to do. When we feel in alignment with our mission, there's this sense and feeling of joy and strength and endurance to keep on moving towards something. Last time we were in this gate between Hud and Netzach, we were looking into Hud within Netzach. We were in the masculine energy. Now we are in the feminine. We are in the week of Hud. We are in our ability to fully surrender to God's creation and life playing out for us. Universe moving, planetary shifts, and their influences on us. The moon, the sun, the stars, the zodiac signs. And right now we are still in this powerful full moon energy, and so much is being purged out, so much is being released. And what else can we do but to surrender to that? There's a greater force behind it, making sure this happens. And if we don't do the work during the day, it happens while we are sleeping. When we allow the masculine energy into this feminine surrendering to the God's creation and God's greater plan, we receive the strength from the Netzach. We receive this diamond's directed energy. We become like the divine womb, receiving the Netzach, receiving the masculine power to move towards a goal and this victorious feeling into our womb, into our heart, into our mind. But what does it mean for us? How can this feel or manifest in the physical to us? For me these days, it brings me back to the revelation again. Yesterday, after I had been reading or channeling this message, I went and checked my phone, and for some reason the weather forecast app, which is on my phone, were suddenly showing me the weather of St. John, which is an island. And it showed me it was 27 degrees there. But the message was St. John, go back to St. John. So I decided I wanted to read the Gospel of John yesterday. And it was so in alignment with what I was speaking about in yesterday's reading. About finding the glory of God within ourselves. And aligning with that glory, with that light. And when we are not in line with it, we experience suffering. We get lost in the human experience. But the moment we remember and open up to receive God from within, the moment we remember that we are on a path towards the truth of who we are seeking the truth and the glory of God within. The Netzach gives us the endurance we need to keep on walking on that path, even though it feels hard sometimes, even though it feels like it takes a lot of time. It's so interesting. I'm not sure it's reflecting my concept of time or that Spirit is trying to give me a message, but 2 times now I have received messages about that I don't have much time left. Like in that dream when I was cleaning the bubble bath and I only had 2 hours left before the next team would come in, and I was this alpha. I was the leader in my old job and I had the keys and I needed to close everything down. But first I felt I had to sorry, forgot to turn off my sound of my phone. But first I had to clean that bathtub. It felt so important to me. And another dream I had was that I was on this ship, but I realized the ship was going in the wrong direction. I was on the right ship. Eventually it would take me there to where I was going, but first it went down the coast instead of north, where I was actually going. And it's interesting because I received some months ago a message that in north the union will happen, without understanding the message and what it really meant. And still I haven't really unpacked every details and I don't understand the messages yet, but there is this sense of time. There's a time issue here. There is like a portal, this silver stream that I also dreamt of, this stardust stream moving through the room, obviously moving through the universe. And then yesterday I was flying in the universe and there was this vomiting. So I felt guided again to sit down with the revelation and to read about the vomiting, where Yeshua is speaking to John and giving the message about those who are neither cold nor hot, and really not moving towards enlightenment. They pretend to be successful and they pretend to have achieved a certain level of consciousness, but they are really not there yet. And Yeshua is like, this disgusts me. And he said something about vomiting. And then yesterday night I dreamt about vomiting. I was flying in space. And the girl I was riding with in this spaceship, she vomited and it hit my face. And it was definitely not the same sensation of having vomiting in my face as this stardust channel, which was very enlightening and pure and bright. So still I have not really understood all these messages. I try to put it into a map. This morning I've been working for some hours actually to see how they fit together. But I don't understand this concept about time. That is it just me feeling that it's not enough time yet, or is the time ticking down in a way to something big, to a big event that will occur. Because that's really how it feels, like there will be this explosion of something, like something giant will happen. And when I read into the Revelation again, and thank God for the St. John message, because it brought me back on track, immediately I can feel into the Netzach and Hud. Because this is my path. This is my mission. To keep on walking towards enlightenment, no matter what, no matter how hard it is, no matter trauma I experience. That dream I had yesterday was so awful, I can still feel sick in my stomach when I think about it. I was so scared. And it really reflected so much of my trauma this life and probably past lives as well. And the human suffering. And thank God I'm in this Netzach energy today that gives me the endurance to keep on walking. Walking through the desert. So I can experience and rediscover the glory of God within myself and within everyone else. The splendor aspect of God, this explosion of beautiful light and rainbow colors. And surrender to God, give myself to God, to serve Him, her, it, as I am the holy servant. It's a great sense of humbleness to know this, that I'm here and I'm on a very important mission, and we are many coming together right now, remembering each other. Remember the faces of our brothers and sisters that we used to be with in communities. For my part, I'm so certain I've been a part of this Essene group. I have many past lives' memories of being a part of this tribe, where we were so one with nature. The intuition was so clear, I could immediately recognize a plant for its medicine and benefits. I could listen to the wind and know where, in which direction to go, where to lead the tribe, so we could find food and water and shelter. We were one with Mother Earth at that time. And we are returning to that. We are one with Mother, Father, God. We are born from them. We are their children. Why is this so hard to remember? Why is this so hard to feel and to know and to live from? Why have we fallen? to such a dark place that we don't no longer how to live in harmony with each other and with Earth. I have these beautiful pictures these days in my mind of this giant spider web that we have all created, that we are all a part of. These are the patterns that happens between us and those people we are relating to. And of course, these are the giant spider web of the human experience. And yesterday when I was teaching yoga, I invited the group, the people in the group, to just take a step back from that giant spider web and to observe it, not be trapped by it, not be caught by the spider web. Because when we are emotionally and mentally identified with those patterns, with that personality, with that human experience, we are not standing holding the spiderweb thread anymore and creating the new reality, the new earth. We are the insect trapped in the web. And I don't want to take part of that anymore. No way. I want to recreate the human trauma and suffering. And I thank God for this aspect, the Netzach aspect of God, which is in me, which is in you. This endurance to keep on working, shedding, releasing, purging, taking responsibility for my actions, words, and thoughts. Not becoming either hot or cold. But taking responsibility. Moving with passion and joy. Because I know I'm on the right path. It's just taking me some time. There's a lot of trauma needed to purge out. Which is okay. And slowly the messages will come to us, like God is it called a manna? I don't remember the word, but it's like he's releasing some breadcrumbs down to earth so we can get fed by them, and that's how we are shown the way through the desert. We have these synchronicities, we have these beautiful experiences like yesterday. What a confirmation, what a support that I found St. John on my phone yesterday. And I find it so interesting that it's not very long ago that I was so reminded about St. Peter in my dream about St. Peter, that I was this spokesperson. And I woke up with a word in my mind, St. Peter. And you have to know, you who are listening, I'm not a scholar of any religion. I grew up in a family who were completely atheists. And for many, many years, I've been in the yogic traditions now and the Buddhist tradition. So these texts are not something I have learned. It comes from within. I have not been reading the Gospels and studying these holy texts. But the saints and the apostles, the disciples of Yeshua are continuously coming to me and talking to me, guiding me, telling me to speak out, telling me to remember love, like John in the Gospel of John. Read that, it's not very long. I can highly recommend to sit down and read it. But go and find the Aramaic translation so you can read the direct translation and not something which is not truthful. Every time we translate something, over time, things gets changed and lost in a way. So an invitation now to connect with your heart. In the Gospel of John, I read Yeshua actually had only one commandment, and that is to remember love. To love your neighbor, your mother and your father, your sister and your brother. Because when we do, we remember God within. It's harder than we think to love so unconditionally. Wow, now I just had a spider coming down on my on my head. Wow, that's interesting. Sorry, I just need to sit with that for a little bit. The feminine Holy Spirit just landed on my head. Wow. What does she want to tell us? What is her message? The divine feminine mother who spins the spider web, who creates life. When this happened, I was talking about love. And in the Gospel of John, John writes that Yeshua have spoken to him and revealed to him that God is only love and light. There is no anger, there is no judgments. It's just pure love and light. And the universe is created from this love, and so are you. And it's truly up to us to create a spider web which is full of unconditional love, which means that every time we experience the opposite, that we judge someone or we pull back from someone because we can't stand that person, or this hatred or envy or whatever comes up in us, that's not unconditional love. That is not God speaking through you. That is your devil. That is your ego. And this is what we need to overcome in order to be one with God, in order to serve God and be that light on earth, be that star on earth, being completely one with that silver stream of stardust. But it requires us to take full responsibility for our words and actions. It requires us to release our identification with some sort of individuality or personality. It's not good enough to say this is who I am, so people just need to stick with me. No, this is not who you are. That's your personality, that's your karma, that's your patterns. That's the spider web which is broken, who speaks. Yes, you are an individualized body. You have an individualized personality, and it's serving God, because this diversity, it's like the miracles, like the snowflakes. Look at the snowflakes. No one is the same, and it's the same thing with the humankind and everything else in nature. So the expression is individualized, but the light within is the same. And Buddha was talking about this. Let go of you trying to find your higher self. Yes, there is an incarnation, but if you want to come all the way home to the nirvana state, you even have to let go of that. Because that personality and that identification is a trap. And the more we can surrender our personality, our mind, our ego, our clinging, our attachment, the more free we will become, and the more good we will create. And the more the feminine and the masculine energies come into oneness with each other, they dance with each other, they make love with each other. The Netzach and the Hood is like brother and sister, working side by side. Energy moving forward, it inspires, it has this strength and endurance to move, to create, to do. While the Hood is continuously pulling the masculine a little bit back. Hey, wait. Let's surrender to the bigger plan here. Let's move with the flow. Let's move with the universe, because the universe is moving within us. Hold back for a little bit. Don't push. Wait, see, allow, flow, surrender. Let go. Trust. Be at ease. And you will definitely meet God within. When all of that is purified, when all the diamonds in the tree of life have been cleaned, all the shadow aspects has been removed, you become like one giant diamond. You become like one with God within. And that is the truth of who you are. You become that splendor because you already are. Thank you for listening. I send you so much love. In this spiderweb that we are all a part of, I'm now sending light into all the threads. Like I am that queen spider standing in my corner of the spiderweb, and I'm sending it all to you. So you can send it into your part of the spiderweb. Serving God, serving good, serving light and love. Amen.